We've kind of gotten used to BlackRock beating the numbers, beating expectations.
BlackRock is by far the largest, with roughly a 35% market share of domestic market.
Big versus small.
The greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world that he doesn't exist. Inflation is here to stay. It wasn't transitory. It never was. Now we're on the brink of economic collapse, the likes of which we haven't seen since 2008. It turns out printing 1/4 of the total money supply in a matter of months isn't a good idea. Who knew? To make matters worse, the company secretly pulling the strings behind everything is about to take center stage. BlackRock, the company that owns you and you don't even know it. Why you should be scared of BlackRock. Founded by Larry Fink in 1988, BlackRock is the most powerful Wall Street fund in the world, with $9 trillion worth of assets under management. That's larger than the gross domestic product, GDP, of every single country around the globe, with the exception of China and the United States. If you were to make $1 every second, you would be worth as much as BlackRock in about 240,000 years. I know. You're sick of it. There are plenty of companies and powerful people that have enough blood money to grind everyone into a paste. But here's why you should be particularly scared about BlackRock. BlackRock's absurd liquidity means that if you look at just about every major publicly traded company in the world, you'll find that BlackRock is its first, second or third largest shareholder. Go ahead, try it. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about why you shouldn't be scared of BlackRock. You should be terrified. What BlackRock does is terrifying. If you put the big three asset management firms together, being BlackRock, Vanguard and State Street, they control a collective of $15 trillion. That's roughly 70% of the United States GDP. But this isn't why you should be terrified of BlackRock.
Major financial institutions have teetered on the edge of collapse, and some have failed. As uncertainty has grown, many banks have restricted lending. Credit markets have frozen, and families and businesses have found it harder to borrow money. We are in the midst of a serious financial crisis, and the federal government is responding with decisive action. So I propose that the federal government reduce the risk posed by these troubled assets and supply urgently needed money so banks and other financial institutions can avoid collapse and resume lending. This rescue effort is not aimed at preserving any individual company or industry. It is aimed at preserving America's overall economy.
We're committed to using our full range of tools to support the economy and to help assure that the recovery from this difficult period will be as robust as possible.
But again, as I mentioned, the Fed 2 weeks ago began buying individual corporate bonds, and we just got granular detail about what types of purchases it made yesterday.
You should be terrified because they are the linchpin between Wall Street and Washington, D.C. During the 2008 housing crisis, when the government bailed out too big to fail giants like Lehman Brothers, Citigroup, AIG, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, who do you think the Federal Reserve hired to clean up the mess? You guessed it, BlackRock. What made all of this worse is that BlackRock held significant shares in the exact institutions they were helping bail out. In finance, we call this circular ownership. I just call it horseshit economics. BlackRock also owns part of CNN and Fox, meaning they can unilaterally influence bipartisan information flow. And they manipulate what we buy, sell, consume, and even where we decide to live. They also own our politicians. BlackRock's next big move. As of 2021, at least 3 executives from BlackRock operate notable positions in President Joe Biden's cabinet. In fact, since BlackRock has a habit of creating shadow cabinets before presidential transitions, they've been unofficially named as the 4th branch of government by the media and those in the financial industry.
Data mining tools to help select stocks. Some are calling this robot stock pickers.
In the ups and downs and all of the uncertainty around active management, they continue to do really well.
The The reason why BlackRock is so efficient in helping out governments around the world is they use an extensive technology program called Aladdin, which operates more than $21.6 trillion as assets. Aladdin is approximately 5,000 supercomputers that now act as the central nervous system for the world's most sophisticated investors and asset managers. Conclusion. BlackRock seems to keep getting bigger and bigger. They continue to buy up homes, businesses, and other banks, furthering their rise. Their technologies and risk management prowess have allowed them to profit off some of the most difficult financial times in American history. Many have pointed the finger at the company, calling it a shadow bank or too big to fail. One thing is for sure, BlackRock manages so much money that it can confidently be said that they control the world.